Beauty is a real ontological reality, and it's all around you. It's right here. Look, let me show you. This current iteration of woodworking began, the seed of it would have been graduating high school. I remember I was in Lee Valley, and Nate, the tech college in Edmonton, had a brochure for their fine woodworking program. I remember holding the brochure, and it was like in a video game when the stun grenade goes off and your ears are ringing and the foreground moves towards you and the background fades away. And I was looking at this brochure for the fine woodworking program thinking, gosh, that's what I want to do. So that's where a seed germinated, I would say. I went to university in 2010, but in 2009, that's when I first heard about this little school over on the Sunshine Coast here in BC. And I was quite taken with what I was seeing on the website. And I remember saying to my mom, I was like, I think that's what I want to do. And both her and my dad were like, looks good, but maybe get a degree first. And that's what I did. But all through my degree, I kept tabs on the blogs of the different students who were at the school, and kept tabs on what was happening at the school itself through the website. And after finishing university, after paying off my student loans in the oil patch in Alberta, I really didn't know what to do with myself vocationally. And the only idea I had was I want to go to this woodworking school. And so I enrolled November 2015, and so began a journey that I'm still on. I trained under Robert Van Norman at his school in Roberts Creek, BC. It's on the Sunshine Coast. The school is called the Inside Passage School of Fine Cabinet Making, or was called that. It's no longer. Robert was trained by James Krenov, who was an influential author and teacher in the American woodworking community. James Krenov started the program at the College of the Redwoods down in California, and that's where my teacher learned from him. There's a tradition that I entered into in going to that school, and I mean, it in terms of form and aesthetic, I look to that constantly. One of the big things that I experienced at the school, the way we were trained, was to attend to the grain of any given piece of wood. Wood is an interesting material because it's not fungible. Any given piece of wood is not interchangeable with any other given piece of wood, depending on how you work with it. Now, you can call up the supplier and say, look, can you send me 200 board feet of white oak? I'm doing a table, I need X amount of material. And you take what you get. But the way we were taught to work at the school was to focus on, pay very close attention to how the grain was flowing through any particular piece of wood, and to work with that. And through the course of the program, and also you're there with 10 other people who are obsessively attending to the quality of the grain flow. It changed my awareness of the material, and that changes everything, frankly. That's why I say wood is a peculiar material in that it's non-fungible. We treat it fungibly as if it's interchangeable with any other piece, but when you start attending to the grain flow and the grain patterns, I mean, the stakes get raised, because this piece of wood has that shimmer, has that color gradation, has that turn of grain, and if you screw up the cut, what the piece was heading towards becoming is no longer gonna be possible. It's that attitude, that orientation towards the material that has inspired the business, both the wood salvage business and the shop and the objects I make in here. The very first thing you do at woodworking school is you work steel, which is they handed us 3 blades and they said, all right, today and tomorrow we're going to sharpen these blades. And so you learn how to lap, you learn how to hone, you learn how to grind, and you learn what sharp is and how to produce it. The very first thing you do after learning how to sharpen is you make a plane. So this was one of the planes. We made 3 planes. There was a jointer, which is long and skinny, and that's for setting a very straight line. And then this was the smoothing plane, and we use this for most of our work. Dimensioning, but also final passes, final surfaces was the term. And then the last plane we made was a curved bottom plane, so same as this in size and purpose, but that was for shaping concave surfaces. With the plane, you start to surface wood, the material. I was familiar with woodworking. I knew what to expect from a plank of wood under the sandpaper. I knew how to make it smooth. I knew how to finish it. Like, I know wood. And the first 2 or 3 plane strokes that came off of this piece and the light that erupted from the maple that I was planing, I was astounded. I just had no idea that it could be that good. It's that attitude, that orientation towards the material that has inspired the business, both the wood salvage business and the shop and the objects I make in here. So the design is a trestle table. I went that way to be able to use the table to feature slabs as tabletops, but as regards the stand itself and the trestle design, I kind of let myself loose in the joinery aspect and came up with a design that relied heavily on tight fit joinery. So yeah, the table was designed to carry large slabs and feature those as the surface. And so the structure that supports all of that, I wanted it to be like evidently strong, hence the larger members, and then to employ well-fit mortise and tenon joinery. There's half laps, there's an ensemble of joinery that goes into it, but it's also designed to be flat packable. And in order to achieve that, I'm a big fan of Japanese woodworking and their approach to the craft, and the Japanese employ wedges all throughout their different joined structures, both architectural but also furniture. And so the table is locked together with 2 large wedges that come in from either end of the beam and bear on some dowels that go through the mortise and tenon legs. And those wedges lock the table into rigidity. And yeah, putting all of that together conceptually in the design phase and then here on the bench it's the best. It's the best of woodworking, I feel. It's what I've been aiming at for 10 years now, since going to the school. And yeah, to be able to work at that level of attention and precision it's a delight. Every component of the table is hand planed to a final surface. And then the little bit of secret sauce that makes the surface sing is you take the shavings that you've planed away and ball them up into a little pad, and you use that pad of shavings to burnish the wood. You use the wood to burnish the wood. It's that last little treatment that brings the surface quality to the right spot. So the table was made on a bit of a time crunch. Every year there's an exhibition in this part of the city. It's called the East Side Culture Crawl. And the building I'm in, there's 100 different studios in this building alone, 20 different woodworking shops. But then there are shops and studios of different vocational crafts all throughout the neighborhood. And every year for a weekend, all the shops open up to the city. And so I wanted to get this piece completed in time to debut at the show, and was able to do so. And it was a wonderful time to put my work out there and have the city come in and discover it, to watch the wow cross people's face as they come into the space, see the work. It's a highlight of the year, frankly. Tim Andries' Woodworking Studio is an investigation through craft into the meaning of the material. This is the same problem Robert Persig had in Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. How do you articulate quality? But it's that quality that I'm aiming at in my work, in this shop. It's why the shop is put together the way it is, so that it's not just functional, it's beautiful. That attention to quality that I'm striving to gather together into this shop, and the pieces that come together herein.
Why won't you say nothing at all? Just walk on by. Don't give me your love. Why won't you say nothing at all?
I'm Tim Andries, and I'm a woodworker.
I like wood.
Yeah.
That didn't come out
right. I like hardwood. Oh.